Hi everyone, this is Ginger with Castro's Flowers, and this afternoon we're going to be showing you how to make a hand-tied arrangement. One of our newest designers, Francisco, is going to show you his technique on how this is done. As you can see, we start with various types of greenery. We use at least 6 types of greenery. Other designers may use more or less, but we try to give a wide variety of greenery to give different textures and colors. We also typically have 24 roses. We like the number 24 because it adds volume and gives you a really full look. And Francisco's going to begin our little demonstration, and I hope you follow along with us and enjoy this. Go ahead, Francisco.
Can you get it?
Yeah.
So you just say what you're doing.
Okay. Francisco is going to take his roses and he crosses the stems, and I'm going to show you why he does that. There will be a reason at the end, and it'll amaze most of you, because when he is done, his particular rose arrangement will be able to stand on the table all by itself, which is really showcasing the talent that he has to do this. This is something I really can't do myself. And when he chooses color, he chooses a color today that he wanted to do. This can be done in any color, can be done with any type of flower. And the whole trick to this is he's basically arranging this using his hand as though it would be a vase. He visually sees what he's doing and he places the flowers in an order that he finds pleasing. But to all this, there is a method, and if you noticed, he hasn't used any fresh greenery at this point yet. We're strictly working with the roses. And on the table, you'll see we have some black paper and some ribbon. This is how we typically finish off our wrapped flowers. We like to give them a beautiful presentation, because wrapped flowers are wonderful. And this particular arrangement will be able to be taken home and put into a vase with minimal effort at all.
You can always just lift them up if you're not comfortable with, because they're gonna sit. And the trick is to keep turning always in an angle.
Right. And if you haven't been paying attention to that, notice he does turn the arrangement every time he places a flower. And that turning is what's going to give this a wonderful effect and will allow it to stand freely on the table. So many times customers will come in and they will buy arrangements in vases, and then we also hear that they wish that they would have had their vase, but they're buying them in our vase because they like the overall style. This also will give you another option to that, because Francisco can hand arrange any of these arrangements to suit you, and you can take them home and place them inside your own vase. This is a wonderful gesture for any occasion, for picking someone up at the airport, an anniversary, a birthday, or best of all, no reason at all, just to have beautiful flowers. Notice how beautiful that looks. It's simply stunning without any greenery at all. And notice that his stems all seem to have a twist to them.
You can see it up in here.
You can see it up inside the roses there. Once he finishes his roses and gets the overall look that he likes, he'll start adding his greenery in. And he does that in various ways.
So I'm going to use this stretchy tape to hold them together first.
Okay, he's going to apply a stretching type tape that will hold his flowers in position so that when he does apply his greenery, he's not going to have any difficulty in losing his shape. Sometimes people do use binding wire for this. We find the stretching tape probably works the easiest, and it holds really well.
And it sticks to itself.
Sometimes when you bind flowers like that, you will see a few petals drop away, and that's basically what I call shipping petals. It's the petals that you would remove anyway to to make your arrangement look nicer, but the shipping petals actually protect the inner flower from damage in shipping.
So you see how you can see the crossing of it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. So parameters now. I'm just gonna cut the length a little bit.
He's gonna slowly cut the length to make it a bit more manageable. He did not alter the length of the roses before he made the arrangement. He is actually using the full length, and these roses are particularly long today. I think when cutting flowers, you have to learn to be comfortable with it. You can leave them a little long and be just fine, but if you cut them too short, you're gonna have some trouble. So most of us, at least myself included, I'll start off and might actually give mine a little more length than they end up with, but it's essentially because I want to make sure that I haven't ruined the flower by cutting it to a length that I cannot use. What he's trying to do now is basically even out the stems at the bottom.
Because that helps, and then when you let it go, you can see that it. So these are they're a little shorter.
And today we're actually filming in a working flower shop setting. We do have customers at the front. We do have designers all around us, and we have staff everywhere. So you will hear a little background noise.
At this point, it should already kind of stand on its own.
There you go. Look at that, folks. It's actual stems touching the table. It's actually supporting the weight of itself. And it is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous.
So now I'm just going to add greenery. I'm just going to start with whatever. I mean, it's...
Okay. He doesn't have any random selection of the greenery. He's just, well, that's wrong words. He's going to select at random greenery. And he'll work it into what he feels is the best way to do it. Again, at an angle, if you notice. And we like to tie the tea leaves because if you didn't tie them, they would be long. But they look very nicely folded. And you can fold them and tape them. You can staple them. I've seen people wire them. We do different directions.
And it's the same technique, always just turn.
If you've noticed, he does continually turn his arrangement. Every time he puts something in, he turns. And I think he's got a little bit of advantage because he's got big hands.
Bigger
and
hands.
His hands are stronger than a lot of ours. And I find that most gentlemen, absolutely gorgeous, make the most beautiful hand ties because they have strong hands to do that with.
Some leather, traditional leather. It gives it a little different touch.
It does. Will you be putting filler in this today, or
I will,
probably
yes.
not? Okay.
I think it's beautiful as just green.
I do too.
So I might leave it like that. It just depends.
Yeah.
And you can always just change your design. You don't have to stick to your plan.
Right.
Unless a customer, wants it a certain way. So I just look at it, right? So I'm thinking maybe here.
These are perfect. When I see this, I don't really want flowers in a vase. I'd much rather somebody bring me something like this because it's vase ready. All you've got to do is make your selection. Maybe have to trim your stems a little bit if it's a little too tall for what you need, but it's just absolutely stunning. And Francisco comes to us from an area where they make these a whole lot more than I've seen them done here. And I think he's got an expertise for it that I simply don't have myself. I'm going to have to practice, and I'm going to have to learn to do this because I think this is going to be a great seller.
So just towards the end, what I do is to give it movement, it's going to be wrapped, but you can still always add movement, and that's beautiful.
It is. It's absolutely stunning.
It gives elegance.
It does. Absolutely gorgeous. And adding mixed greenery gives it depth.
And then not just because you've got a lot of greenery, you don't have to use all of it. And once you see that it's full, that should be better. What do you think there? Maybe a little more here? Or?
I think whatever you choose is fine with me. It's simply stunning. I would love to have that. Certainly wouldn't turn anybody away if they showed up at my door with that.
Last piece of tape. They tear, but it's that's how you get a piece that's a little longer. Let's try this one more time. Oh, right. So you have what you really got to learn as hard as working with one hand, because one hand it's occupied with your bouquet.
Right, you've got to hold it. You've got to maintain a good...
See? And then we like to shine our greenery. You can do it before and then after. Only the greenery.
Right. The polish that he's putting on there is called Green Glow. It is designed for plants, and it does not hurt them. We really try never to spray the flowers with that, simply because it gives it an artificial look. On the greenery, it makes the greenery look healthy, but on flowers, it just looks not so pleasant. And just imagine this in a fall bouquet. Look at that, folks. Look at that. Stands on its own with all the roses and the greenery. And just imagine that. If this little video goes well, we might try this with some sunflowers and some beautiful fall flowers toward our fall season. And he's going to prepare to wrap this, but as you can see, it literally stood on its own. It's stunning. And when you wrap it, it really depends on what you like. We have various shades of paper, but we like black here. We think black brings the color right into the arrangement. And he does a little triangle with the paper. He folds the paper into a triangle shape. And then he wraps it around. And he uses a glue gun to glue it. We do have dash dots too that some of us use that are not really good with the glue gun, but he uses a glue gun. And he folds the paper over. And he adds a second sheet of paper to cover the back. Again, he does the fold. And the glue. And again, this is a working flower shop this video is being shot in, so I apologize for the background voices, but we are working.
And then you can take a look to see if you need more. Lift it up. I think that's good.
It's perfect. It's really beautiful.
Make sure that you can't see the glue either.
And he does that. He seams that perfectly where the glue is not visible on the outside. And it's all about finesse and technique. You really have to take pride in what you do, even when it's folding paper.
Lift it up.
Absolutely beautiful. And even with the paper, it stands on its own. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So now I'm just gonna make a bow.
Okay, now he's going to demonstrate a type of bow that he would use for this. And when making bows, everybody has their own way of doing it. We hear, as many of us as we are, none of us do it exactly the same. So if you can make a bow, make it the way you want to. We also like to use a satin, and then we like to use a sheer to give it an elegance look.
At this point, I decided not to use any filler flowers because I thought it was beautiful with
It
just
is
the greenery.
beautiful. But again, that's an option that, you know, you can do yourself. If you decide you want it or need it, you can always add in your filler flower, just following the same technique that he did, the rotation, and you would add that in. We find though with deep red and beautiful greens, you don't always need filler at all.
It's sheer red.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do it first. So normally, you know, we would use wire or anything, but we wouldn't want to use wire on this. So I'm gonna tie it with the same ribbon, or you could use like curling ribbon or. And then just fix, make it how you want it. Get a good shape. So once you do that, you start seeing, okay, so what's the front, which actually I would say this is the front because it's a little lower. So I would put this down here. I'll leave the stems like this because if you decide you want to go home and put it in a vase, you know, it's the perfect arrangement. And it's already, it has a nice shape to it. So this, you would just put this, hold your paper. And then tie and come back so you don't see the knot.
Yes, you leave enough ribbon to bring it back. That's a very good point. For when you actually tie the knot, it is behind the bow there, which is, you know, really nice touch.
So you want to tell her what you call this, the dovetail, or?
I call it scissor tail.
Oh, well, yeah.
Scissor tail, dovetail. I think everybody has a different name to it. But again, we always trim our ribbon to make it look professional. When you see that, you know that a florist has done that because we're so fussy.
So this is the turnout. And you could always add more paper here if you would like. But at this point, I don't think I would. Or maybe something like to cover, you know, just in the back portion.
And would you just glue that in, or would you tie that in? Or?
I think I would have to tie it in. But at this point, I think I'm just going to leave it
As it is. But there's just different things. And this paper can actually be layered in different colors. If these were lavender roses, this could be lavender and any color that you want.
So this got, maybe add a little more glue to this side. There we go. And that would be about it.
All right, folks, that's our video.
This is the
And
finished product.
oh, it's simply gorgeous. Who wouldn't want that? Who really wouldn't want that? And just remember, Castro's Flowers for all your needs. And look at this.
Or imagine having this in your desk at work.
I know.
And
You'd
then
be
taking
the
it home
envy.
with you.
Yep. Well, thank you again for watching. We're going to do something again soon. Thank you, Francisco, for this
Thank
wonderful
you.
video.
Bye.